Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is 10:18 local California time. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well. Got my little mic here. Okay, so today, fruit and weight gain, fruit and weight gain. Oh my goodness, there's so many things and confusion and things online about fruit and weight gain. So many people think that they cannot eat fruit because there's too much sugar. The reason why they say there's too much sugar and they're worried about that is because they think that that sugar is going to turn into body fat. And that's not, although that's how the body can transform the fructose in fruit, that's not the preferred way that is going to take that fructose and turn it into body fat. That's just not, it takes a lot more energy for the human body to do that. Learn that from John McDougall. Wow. So he breaks down exactly how many calories it takes for the sugar in food to turn into fat versus glucose. And glucose is what we want because that's our energy. The brain is only 3 pounds, but the brain docs taught us that it takes up 25 to 50% of our body's energy. And what does the brain prefer to run on? You got it, baby. Glucose. All right. So today I'm going to make a little breakfast. I want to show you my sprouts, but I'm going to talk about the fructose and sugar first and fruit. But look at these sprouts. Aren't they gorgeous? So we are on day 5 of these. What are these called? The 4 legs of love from the Sprout people. That's literally where I got it from, the sproutpeople.org. And first, let's talk about the fruit. I also wanted to show you this fruit. This gorgeous fruit from the farmer's market. I got some persimmons, I got some strawberries, blackberries. We ate all the raspberries. Got some cherry tomatoes and these gorgeous avocados. So pretty. So I think that I just answered the fruit question, but of course, it's just so impossible and very difficult. Not impossible. It's difficult to understand what's going on online because of all of the confusion. And there's so many people who think that fruit is going to make them gain weight. And that's very far from the truth, unless we eat just pounds and pounds and buckets of it and don't move our bodies and then eat high fat foods after that. That's highly and ultra processed and all the rest. So when we eat simple fruit like this, no, it's not going to gain weight. You're not going to gain weight. So this is an excerpt from How Not to Die by Dr. Michael Greger. And on page 290, especially 291, he goes into what about all the sugar in fruit? So mostly in this chapter, he's talking about all the antioxidant power and how amazing fruit is. But he also says that consuming sugar in fruit form is not only harmless, but actually helpful when it comes to our overall health. Eating berries can blunt the insulin spike from high glycemic foods like white bread, for example. This may be because the fiber in fruit has a gelling effect in your stomach and small intestine that slows the release of sugars, or because of certain phytonutrients in fruit that appear to block the absorption of sugar through the gut wall and into the bloodstream. So eating fructose the way nature intended carries benefits rather than risks. So this beautiful blackberry. Oh my gosh, when blackberries are sweet, they're the best. But when they're not, yeah, hard to eat, right? But these blackberries are incredible. Look at that. So juicy. So sweet. So good. But these blackberries, I didn't really mean to eat that. Inside of this, it has fiber. And if you remember that diagram that I showed you about how glucose kind of moves throughout the body by T. Colin Campbell in his book Whole, Rethinking the something about science of nutrition, there are how many chemical reactions that are happening in the body because of a whole plant? Potentially tens of thousands simultaneously. And because many of these doctors will say, because of the fiber is slowing down the absorption of all the nutrients into our bodies, which is a really good thing, because then it is slowly releasing the nutrients. When we eat, most of the nutrients are extracted in the small intestine, and then it goes into our bloodstream. So when T. Colin Campbell says it takes like 2 to 3 seconds for all of these nutrients to travel exactly where in our bodies they should be traveling to, like our bodies are just optimized all the time without us thinking about it, then those are all good things. So mostly because it's got the fiber, it's a whole plant. And even if you're not into the science at all, many times I'm just like, just give me the goods, just tell me what's what. But of course, we have to locate people who are credible, right? Because you can find somebody who stands on any kind of argument anywhere online. And so when we're just passive kind of online learners, yeah, that's when things get really confusing. But when we dive into certain experts, their backgrounds, their bodies of work, we compare and contrast to other credible experts. We compare and contrast them to people who are not credible. We compare them to practitioners who actually take care of real human people, because ultimately that's the point, right? We want to know what the human outcomes are, not just like what this study says or what my neighbor told me. Those are all data points, and I value those things, but we can't just rely on that when it comes to feeding our children, feeding ourselves, feeding our loved ones. So for me, a really easy way to understand this is if it is a whole plant like this, it's not been effed up by us. We've not mucked this up in any way. If I threw this into my juicer, it's going to extract most of the fiber out. Not all of it, but most of it. That's not an optimal way for me to eat this adorable, beautiful little berry. And although I'm getting all the color of it and I'm getting still some nutrients, I still think that juice can be very healthful, but it's not optimal. So I'd much rather pop this into a smoothie, blend it all up with all of its fiber, if I must drink this as opposed to eating it. So, cool thing about blackberries and berries in general is they have something called anthocyanins. I don't know, is that a phytochemical? But this book, Gregor, really repeatedly states, like, basically the darker the color, not just him, many other people, the darker the color, the pigment of the color, the more possible antioxidants that fruit may have. So the rich reds, beautiful, right? Just gorgeous. The greens, the different oranges. So when somebody like T. Colin Campbell says we should optimally eat a variety of whole plant foods and think about a variety of just different plants, different vegetables, different starches, different any kind of whole plant that you enjoy eating, that's the ticket to good health. And then if we layer on top of that, think of a variety of colors, then we're doing even better. So he says, Gregor, he talks about berries. And on page 294, he says, yeah, the benefits have to do with the anthocyanin pigments. Other berries like bilberries, blueberries, or blackberries may help as well. Anthocyanin pigments are responsible for many of the intense blue, black, purple, and red colors of berries and other fruits and vegetables. So when we're thinking about anthocyanins, it's not just the blackberry. Just because he says blackberries and the darkest pigment, fruits and vegetables have the highest levels of antioxidants, we don't solely have to just go for black foods. Although I always think that ever since I've read this textbook, I always think that. And I read this years ago, whenever it was published, whenever it came out. But it's just helped me make good decisions for me and my family. And so today, I thought, let's harvest our sprouts and make a little breakfast plate for Elle. It's American Thanksgiving week, and I have to tell you that I love this different kind of vibe and energy and pace of our days. So I have some nice sourdough bread to start. And I gave these guys a nice little rinse. These are from the farmer's market. So let's cut that in. And Oh, it's a little bit, it could have used a little more time, but that's okay. Our daughter really likes her avocados to be very ripe, so this is not going to be ripe enough for her. I already know that. I'll eat that one. That's okay. But I've got my pieces of toast. She's not going to have too much toast. But this is a nice sourdough, and we love sourdough in this household. I was going to spread some avocado on there, but these are not ready yet. Oh no. It's so sad. Got my beautiful sprouts. This is day 5 of the sprouts. I did not end up harvesting any over the weekend. I've just been rinsing them. So pop this onto our strainer like this. And I'm just going to let it soak, or drain completely in the sink. But typically I smother some avocado on here. This is like so rubbery. This is not going to work. Let's just hope that this one's ready. No, it's not. Darn it. It's okay. So typically I will put avocado on here. Oh my gosh, that is so not working. And then I will pop in the sprouts. Kamsa. But I find that it could use a little bit of fat. Now I could pop in some olive oil. That would be nice, but I don't have to do that. And then I love cherry tomatoes, or just tomatoes. I don't have any tomatoes, but just these tomatoes onto my toast. Yum. Look how cute that is. It's like a little salad on my toast. And then definitely have to dress it with some salt and pepper. Got some little fancy salt. I am a little bit heavy-handed with the salt, I do realize. And then that is my breakfast toast. Yeah. And then I'm going to have it with the side of our fruit and just pile that all onto this board. And it's kind of like my charcuterie board. Is it going to focus here? Sorry, this is terrible. I will get better at these, promise. But yeah, this is our big board. I'm going to end up eating the avocados. Oh, I also have some nuts. So we've got our walnuts. Grab a couple of those on the plate. And I also have pistachios. Now, I don't do the raw pistachios, but I would eat them if we had them. Let's just put a pile on there. And these persimmons, look at how gorgeous these are. I'm obsessed with persimmons. They're so good. These could probably use a little more time, so I'm just going to open one up and do my best to patiently wait for the others. Yeah, that's hard. I'm very impatient. Something I'm constantly working on. But look at that. So beautiful. Oh, I love the skin of these, even though they're quite hard, but so good. So this is our array of food. And then this is our avocado. It's not avocado. Normally it's my avocado toast, but we don't have any ready. But because it's dressed and it's got a little bit of salt, the pepper, the crunchy sprouts, the beautiful cherry tomatoes, the variety of color. I don't think there are different varieties, but at least there's a variety of color. And then I've just pan toasted the everything sourdough toast. So the sourdough toast has minimal ingredients and it's just like regular sourdough. So good. Yum. So delicious. Man, I love bread. Next, we'll talk about bread and how it can help you gain weight, but it doesn't necessarily have to. Just like fruit. Don't believe that. Just don't. That's ridiculous. I find it ridiculous. I feel sorry for anybody who's like, Jamie, I don't eat oranges because there's just way too much sugar in there. We have to then understand how physiology works just a little bit, because otherwise we're missing out. And we are just too special to not eat fruit. It's like a major food group to me. So anyway, bon appetito. Cheers. I'll see you next time.